Okay, so after this one, you should have a game that looks a bit like this. So we've got the tail as before, but if I hit the edge, the game stops, and now nothing happens, and I have to run that again. I'll show you, if I can, that the bashing into the tail also works. No, I'm going to have to do that again, sorry. And I've got to get a long enough tail to be able to do it. Okay, I might try there. There you go. So I've hit myself, and that's another game over condition. So let's look at how that's implemented. Nothing else needs to be imported here, and in fact nothing else happens to drawing either. All that I'm doing here is I set myself a game over variable here, again defined at the module level, and it's starting off being false, and I have a game over condition here, and it's the result of this function that will change game over from false to true. This first condition is collision with the edge, and if you were to take the x coordinate and add to it the current change in x, and find that that is less than 0 or greater than the window width, you have to mess around with this minus cell size, because you are talking about the left edge of the square of the head that's going off the screen, rather than the sort of right edge or the center or anything like that. So you've got to play around with these just to get them right. Or if you were to add another move to the y and find it's less than 0 or greater than the window height, then that fulfills condition 1 and you've hit the edge. A condition with the second condition is that you've hit yourself, and it can be written very succinctly in Python, and it is that your current coordinates of your head are somewhere in your tail, and that means that your head and part of your tail are on the same grid cell. And then having defined these two conditions, you just return whether or not either of them are true. And if they are, then game over condition itself returns true, and on that basis you can set game over to be true, and then bomb out immediately of this update, because you don't want to do any more updating if the game is over. What I don't really want to do is check these game over conditions every single time I update. So I set this variable here, and the next time we come into update, as we do, this keeps running even after the game is over. But it just says, now if the game is already over, then forget it, don't do any more updating. So only this tiny part of the code runs if the game is already over. One thing I didn't mention last time was how I stop the snake from being able to do a sort of 180-degree turn, and that's done here. I've added these extra conditions. If I'm pressing the left key, then I'm only interested in updating the change in direction if I'm not already if I'm not already moving left or right. Let's have a think about that. Snake dx will be 0 if I'm moving up and down. Okay, that means I'm not changing my x coordinate, and it's only when I'm not moving horizontally, I am moving up or down, that I want to even listen to a command to move left or indeed right. So when I move left or right, I only do something if my change in x is not actually happening at the moment. That means if I press left and I'm already going left, nothing happens, or if I press left and I'm already going right, nothing happens. I just ignore it. And the same happens here. When I choose up or down, I only want to do something if my dy is 0, i.e. I only want to go up or down if I'm currently moving horizontally. So these extra if conditions here, 1, 2, 3 and 4, make sure that I can't do the 180 degree turn. Anything else I need to talk about there? I don't think so. I think that's enough for me to determine that the game is over. It doesn't end very elegantly at the moment because you have to just close the program and restart it, but we deal with that in the last video.